Hey Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading. It's going to be a reading here from June 9th until the 15th. Hope you're doing well. We're just going to go ahead here and get started and jump straight in. All right, Scorpio, I feel like you're in the in-between right now. You're in between worlds right now in your life. You are putting it into something here, but I feel like what you're putting it into isn't necessarily something that's bad. I almost get here what you're putting it into is overthinking. There's something here this week that I feel you're trying to process and understand so that way you can make the correct decision for yourself here to balance things out in your life. And I see you right now very focused on your work at this time, focus on money, your career, your stability here. But there is something here that it's not like you're wondering, but you feel like you're wandering and you don't have like the clear direction, the understanding here that you need in order for you to have the clarity to understand your situation and figure out a solution to something here. But I do see you here figuring something out or something being illuminated. Yeah, it's like you're putting it into something here. So give me one sec. I'm gonna pull your oracle cards and then of course we'll jump into the tarot. While I'm pulling your oracle cards, if you want to book a personal reading with me, that link will be down below in the description. If you click that link, it'll take you to my website, and then from there you'll be able to see the different reads that I have. So let's take a look here, Scorpio. This week though, I mean, this makes a lot of sense. As we enter into the week, we have Mercury that's going to be squaring Neptune and squaring Saturn. So Mercury deals with the way we process information and understand things, and it also deals with communication. So there could be blocks in communications and just blocks when it comes to understanding things. And it can be very emotionally frustrating because Mercury's in Cancer. Cancer deals with the emotion and trying to intuitively and emotionally, figure things out. And then, that square to Saturn in Aries. Aries, it's like you feel blocked from initiation or from initiating things or moving forward. And that can bring definitely frustration and anger. So I would just be aware of that. And then we also have Venus square Pluto that same day. So this is things with relationships, money, people, and just trying to figure out how do I create stability, right? And so there's a deeper transformation going on when it comes to you, your relationships, and your life. And, it can feel frustrating. And then we have the big full moon in Sag this week, which is piquing the emotions. But I think the one good thing about this full moon in Sag, because the ruling planet is Jupiter, and Jupiter comes into its exaltation this week on June 9th as we enter the week, that even though it's square Saturn, Jupiter will square Saturn. So it's like we want to grow and expand, find the emotional comfort and the nourishment and reconnect to our roots and our deeper, in the deepest parts of our inner self and, find that inner emotional happiness, but feeling almost like restricted and blocked because there's like certain challenges and limitations in our way that we have to confront or deal with Saturn being there. So, but the one good thing about this full moon is that at least, this full moon is allowing for us to let go of an old story, to let go of an old belief, and to let go of what we think is true because we're getting the truth. We're getting the clarity. You pull this Juno card, it says partnership. This could definitely be like a relationship here that you're letting go of here, Scorpio, with the partnership card. And even if it's not a relationship here, maybe it's like certain relationships in your life. And I think also too, it's like you're wanting to actually find better partnerships too in your life. And I don't think it's just romantically. I think it's in all parts of your life here. So I do see that. Let's see. You pulled this Eye of the Needle. It says intentionality here. Yeah, I mean, the intention. I think you're trying to move forward with the best intentions here. But I feel like you're just trying to figure out, okay, like what is my intention? Because there's confusion and there's blocks. So it's like you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I move forward? Like what new intention do I want to set for myself that's going to bring a deep transformation in my life? Because I don't want to keep dealing with the same bullshit, right? Ten of Swords, right? It's the definition of insanity. And we'll get to the tarot here in a moment. You pull this Galactic Healer card. It says move forward with an open mind here. And I think this is connecting to that Ten of Swords to where you're in a process and in a situation of where you are healing something here, and I feel like it's quite frustrating because it's like you're really trying to like let go of what this is, so that way you can step more into like being more open and receptive to life and feeling like you can relax and not feel like you're constantly dealing with something internally. Does that make sense? And so I do feel there's a lot of healing here happening this week, but it's about prioritizing. I feel your healing. You pulled the Two of Swords here for the overall energy for you this week. And like I said, this is you, I feel, processing information, trying to figure out, okay, because what is the Two of Swords? It's like, yes, it's about needing to make a decision and possibly being indecisive and on the fence, which could be true, but it's because you're trying to figure something out, like you're trying to process something. You're also trying to make peace with something, right? Two of Swords is Moon in Libra, so it's like making peace with something emotionally, so that way you can get back into the balance of life and the harmony of life. So it's like you're making peace with something here, but it's a process. And the Eight of Pentacles being in your current energy at this time, I think right now you're just very focused on your work, right? Your career. The Eight of Pentacles is about, it's not about being busy, but I mean, it could be busy, but it's more so like you're just doing what it is that you need to do, right? So you can improve your situation. You pulled the Eight of Cups in your challenge. I think your challenge, this is you wandering a bit or feeling like you're wandering. You're letting something go with the Eight of Cups that no longer is spiritually aligned with you anymore. But you haven't really gained the awareness of, okay, you're still, like, you're in the in-between, like you're in a transition. So it's like, okay, you let go of something here, but it's like also too, it's like you're trying to figure out like your next steps along the way, and you're trying to find clarity and solutions here. Which your advice being the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is the messenger of clarity. He is the person that seeks out information. Because what is the Eight of Cups? It's Saturn and Pisces. And what is Saturn and Pisces? Well, Pisces deals with awareness and deepening one's awareness through knowledge, research. And Saturn is, okay, well, there's blocks to that. And so it's like you have to do the work to find the enlightenment, to find the awareness. And so the Page of Swords, as your advice, is wanting you to seek out information here, like seek out knowledge. Like if you have a question, ask. If you're curious about something, chat GPT it, right? It's just figuring out solutions, not allowing yourself to stay stuck in the in-between, but like really starting to look for the solutions. It's going to be a bit difficult. I'm just keeping it real as we enter into the week, from the 9th probably to the 11th, with Venus to square Pluto, and then Mercury square Saturn, and then Mercury to squaring Neptune. It's like kind of having to deal with a lot of confusing things, trying to find clarity, trying to find the answers, but filling the blocks. But that doesn't mean you stop. It just means like, okay, maybe I need to surrender or yield here a little bit and kind of let the answers find me. But when I get the answers, I need to move forward with those answers. I need to move forward with the truth. Like sometimes the truth isn't always what we want, but it's the truth that sets us free. Because this Ten of Swords here in the future position, it's like you're putting it into a cycle, some type of loop here. The Ten of Swords is like dealing with the same experience that you've been dealing with, and it's just like, damn, it's like enough is enough. And with the Death card here being in the outcome, this is you letting go of something that's bringing in and ushering in a deeper transformation. And it's for your evolution and growth. It's like you're finally being able to put something to rest here. And your last card that you pulled in the position of something you're unaware of that you need to be aware of is the Seven of Wands, which the Seven of Wands is courage. Like standing on your own 2 feet and, rising up and not letting things keep you down. So it's like strength. Also, there is something here about like boundaries and, needing to protect your peace here. Because that Mercury is squaring Saturn as we enter the week, with Venus square Pluto and Mercury square Neptune, this can be arguments and fights and relationships, disagreements, not feeling heard, not feeling seen, confusion, power games, power struggles. And, maybe it's like it's like you may have to put up boundaries, right? Or stand up for yourself. Clarify the Two of Swords for the overall energy. You pull the Ace of Swords. I knew it. See, the Ace of Swords is connected to that intentionality card, to where you have an understanding, and and it's like you have an idea of how you want to move forward with things, and you're searching things and you're figuring things out, but there's still things to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to figure out what to do with what you figured out. Clarify the Eight of Pentacles in your current energy. You have the Ace of Pentacles here, because really what's going on in your current energy, there is this whole new chapter here beginning for you, or there's at least something new that you're wanting to do just in general in your life. And so you're working on that. Clarify the Eight of Cups in your challenge. You pulled the Star card here. You know, I got to be real. You know, the Star card represents navigation, right? How do I know that? Well, like, we've always looked to the stars. Our ancestors always looked to the stars for navigation. Maybe the astrology is just hard for you this week, right? But I think, especially, well, no, never mind. But I think the Star card is, it's, you know, you're definitely going through this purge spiritually with the Star. And what is the Star? Well, it's about your North Star in life too, like something that gives you a strong reason why and purpose, and that brings meaning, and that gives you something to aim for. And I feel that's where you're stuck. It's like you know what you want, but it's like trying to sync with it spiritually and emotionally is where you feel sort of blocked. And it's like you're also going through this process of spiritual purifications where you're shedding all these old layers and parts of yourself here. And you could feel a little bit confused and lost. And sometimes the Page of Swords as the advice is like ask for help or get someone's feedback and opinion, right? It's about communication, conversation to figure things out. Like, you know, sometimes we need things reflected to us in order for us to see something in a different light. So I wouldn't rule that out. But I think too, because you're in the in-between and transitioning and you're wandering here a bit, and you know the Star card is hope, right? It is hope. And maybe, you know, like you're sort of losing hope here. Oh, no. Yeah, maybe you're losing hope, but also the Star card deals with synchronicity too. And so it's like you're trying to just see what the universe is trying to tell you, right? And I think the universe is communicating to you. God is showing you things. And I feel like the Page of Swords is saying like to follow, you know, the guidance, to follow the natural current of where the divine is showing you things and where it's taking you and where it's leading you, instead of trying to force things. Clarify the Ten of Swords in the future. You pulled the Seven of Cups here. Give me one more on this. With the Five of Cups. Yeah, you know what I feel here? You know what you're done with here, Scorpio? Seven of Cups, Five of Cups. What is the Seven of Cups? It's desire. It's like you're desiring something that feels emotionally good. But that's just one thing, right? It's like we desire something, but we can just desire it all day long, right? And then we can be upset about, you know, us not receiving those desires. But it's not until like we literally change Ten of Swords, like we actually do something so that way we can get what we desire. And I think one thing that you've been kind of sitting on and thinking about is how to, like you're trying to figure out like what to do to start to move into that energy of what you're emotionally desiring and wanting to experience. So that way you do feel fulfilled and happy. But it's almost as if you're having to make a change here or put it into like procrastination or something like that, or rumination, or just maybe overthinking. Or there could be confusion and block. So it's like you don't know, and it is confusing, and it does make you upset. But I think you're getting the clarity, though, Ten of Swords here in the future during this week. And I think whatever the truth is, whatever the answer is that you get, is allowing for you to see, okay, what you need to do. Clarify the Death card in the outcome. You pull the Nine of Swords. This is an end to your worries and your anxieties and your fears. I think you're tired and you're done living in fear. You're done living in survival mode. You're done living in, you know, not getting what you want, not being in the position that you want, not having the things that you want. Like I feel like you're changing your mindset. Two of Swords, Ace of Swords, the overall energy, then the Page of Swords as the advice. Like you're changing your thinking. You're moving forward more with new intention. You're moving forward with more intention. Because no matter what, and I heard this the other day, no matter what, we're always focused on something. You may think you're unfocused, like we're always focused on something. Either we're focused on the negative or we're focused on the positive. But your ability to be able to focus and create something to focus on, right, using your imagination, you might as well focus on something that is beneficial. You might as well focus on something that is like an outcome that you want. Right, and also too, it's like we can get caught up in distraction, or we can be caught up in distraction, or we can live by intention. And I think maybe you've been distracted a lot, and so it's like you're switching back to the intention part. It's like you're living with more intention. Clarify the Page of Swords as the advice. You have the King of Pentacles here. One thing I see here for your advice here this week, King of Pentacles is going to come out a lot because Venus is in Taurus, and Taurus is prosperity, so it does with our money, values, can deal with relationships and stuff like that, stability and security, and just material comfort, right? And so like sometimes it's like Page of Swords, the King of Pentacles, like having to think of how you can bring in that material comfort, that security, right? And having to like really come up with new things, Page of Swords, implement new ideas, move forward with new ideas, so that way you can start to create a more prosperous reality for yourself that provides you with the comfort that you want, that provides you with the resources that you need, that provides you with just the structure and the stability. Because what is the Eight of Cups? It's spiritual, it's Pisces. What is the Star card? It's the most spiritual card in the deck. And so sometimes it's like we can really be like there's the material and the spiritual, and like sometimes we need to balance it, right? Like sometimes we could be way in the spiritual, but sometimes we need to actually focus on the material. And I feel that, prosperity is spiritual. I'm not saying like there's the spiritual is in the material and vice versa. The material is in the spiritual. So like prosperity is your divine birthright, and so you shouldn't feel guilty for wanting more. Clarify the Seven of Wands. Pull the Knight of Swords. Something you're unaware of that you need to be aware of. Knight of Swords is direct and is intentional, moves forward with intention. The Seven of Wands is boldness. So I feel the Spirit's wanting you to be more bold. You have a lot more strength and a lot more competence than you think you do. But it's just about like exercising your will and, getting out of that stuck energy of feeling like you're lost or wandering, or, and you could literally be lost and wandering, right? I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that's not the case. But it's not. It's like if we allow ourselves to be a victim to that and feel like nothing's going to work, and so we just don't do anything at all, then that's where I feel like the Spirit's wanting you to like wake up and snap out of it. Like whatever's right in front of you is for your evolution, the Death card, and it's here to help you grow, but it is uncomfortable. So there's a lot of healing I get here this week for you. So that's what I got for you, Scorpio, in your reading. I'm going to leave your reading here. If you want to book a personal reading with me, again, that link will be down below in the description. I think I have like one mini read left. It may be gone by now, though. I don't know. So if you're interested in the mini reads or have been wanting a mini read, I did restock them, but I only think there's one left. So if it's sold out, I do have the other reads, the standard read like we just did, and also the Astrology and the Tarot combination read. So be sure to check that out. I'm wishing you the best, and I'll see you later.